Hey!
Hi. That's quite the countdown.
Welcome.
3, 2, 1, go.
We made it. We're here. I can't even believe it.
We made it, guys. Yeah, it was the technical issues were a combination of internet problems on Jesse's side and then streaming problems on the visual side. Just things were not working at all.
And apparently
So,
they're ongoing because I'm looking at the screen here and my name is like cut off and, like the bottom is cut off. I don't care anymore.
oh well.
We're just going to make it happen.
All right.
So welcome, everybody.
We can.
It's Don't Worry Wednesday. We finally are here. It's going to be a shortened show tonight because I can't stay on for 2 hours and still do all the stuff I need to do. Yeah, I'm all discombobulated after all that nonsense, and now I get to host, so that's even more exciting.
Yeah, you do, man. You got this.
So, at any rate, welcome to Don't Worry Wednesday. Welcome to the Black Static and Swerve live channel. This is the channel where we do Don't Worry Wednesday on Wednesdays, Free for All Friday on Fridays, and Double Cup of Joe show on Mondays, starting up again in November. This is a show, Don't Worry Wednesday is a show where we handle all your challenges, issues, topics, anything you might be facing. You can feel free to post them in the chat. You can send us an email, dww@bss.studio. You can, what else can you do? You can call Ryan. His cell phone number is
1-989-390-5 your mother. Good luck with the 3 digits. All right, you guys, I actually gave you legitimately my phone number except for the last 3 digits.
Yes.
It's not 5, Mom. It's not.
The funny thing is anybody who's gotten an international order from bss.studio probably has my phone number printed on their shipping label.
That's true.
That's true. But that's probably not the best place to submit a topic for Don't Worry Wednesday. You can also submit it on Discord. Probably Princess has put all the stuff in here in the chat at some point or another, like all the different ways to contact us. But at any rate, we are not professional counselors, therapists, police officers, lawyers, doctors, or architects, or whatever.
Anthropologists.
Lots of things.
Yeah.
But we just want to help in
Face
any way we
crawlers.
possibly can. We want to be your friend. We want to do whatever we can to help in any way possible. So, at any rate, I am hosting the show tonight. I'm also trying to take care of all technical issues, which was great and glorious time. You guys missed it. You were all in the chat still. I watched you guys stuck around this whole time. It was amazing to me because I was like, man, we didn't start this show. We started an hour late, which is not as late as normal, even though we're usually kind of late. We're not usually an hour late.
Pretty bad.
But you guys were still here. So this is pretty awesome. So anyway, Princess is our chat room hostess. She keeps us on track. I don't even have the spreadsheet open from Princess. She made this nice thing for us to keep track of everything. And I don't even have it open yet because we were dealing with all this stuff. And the star of the show and the star of my life, Ryan.
Everybody, welcome Michael Jordan. No, never mind. Sorry, it's
actually
me.
Ryan is not the star of my life. That was
Okay,
really awful to
glad
say
that's
that
not the
actually
case.
because I am married to my wife.
Yeah, that's good.
And I have 2 children, and
I'm married to Jesus.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
There's a real star for you. So yeah, welcome to Don't Worry Wednesday, guys. We appreciate you. We really, really do appreciate you guys sticking around. I can't believe it. I expected you all to leave. Like, well, I guess it's just not happening tonight. So you guys are seriously amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan Seaweed, thanks. It's exactly what name name reads.
Is it? Does it say Ryan Seaweed?
It's SWEELAD. Sweet lad.
Sweet lad, not seaweed.
Right.
Sweet
No,
lad.
it's not. It's not seaweed.
It's not seaweed. Yeah. Don't get that mistaken. Sweet lad.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like something like Scottish. Sweet lad.
Sweet lad.
Yes. But anyway, so we've got some topics, don't we?
Yes, we do.
And we've got some
Did you get the
people.
sheet open?
I did. I finally got it open.
Awesome.
I feel
Yep,
like
we
super
certainly do
special.
have quite a few topics, which is awesome.
Yes, and I know I've seen some of you in the chat already. I will go down the list and we'll just take them in order of when we received them, and we'll go through them. So anyway, I will go through the list. If you hear your name, give a what's up with your mama dat in the chat. I'm bringing that back, and do the dab in the chat. If you don't know what that is, just look for it. It's right there. That one. Not everybody's going to do it just because it's fun. Dabbing is fun.
I've never dabbed in my whole life.
It's fun. Try it.
Okay.
You're not going to try it now, are you?
There you go. That's my only form of dabbing. I've
What did
never
you
done
do?
it other than the emoji.
Oh, okay.
I refuse to dab. I'm too hipster.
You are hipster.
Yeah, I'm super hipster.
I'm old and I dab. I look like a dork probably, but I don't care.
You look cooler than me doing
I stopped.
it. If
I
I were to
stopped
do it, I would
caring a
look
long time ago.
so dorky. I wouldn't look cool doing it.
Yes. Well, all right. All right. Here's the names: Royal, also Saigo, Sevlev, SK, Awkward / Pika, Helmarok Hero, Pear, Kaneki, another Pear, Anonymous. If you're here,
Anonymous,
we
the
need to
title of
figure out-
yours is Honesty with Feelings.
Yes. Okay.
I'm sure
so
somebody knows if
you
you're
don't-
here or not.
You can. It looks like you're here. Princess put a star next to your name in our thing, so she
Okay.
knows. She knows. I don't know who you are. But anyway, Saula, Ash, Yume, and another anonymous. Wow, we're getting the anonymouses.
Mm-hmm. Anonymous eye?
Anonymous.
Anonymi? It's
Anonymi.
anonymi.
Anonymi. All right.
Anonymi. I think that's how it is.
All right. Cool. So looks like the first one we're coming to is Pear. I'm guessing it's that Pear kid. I would imagine.
Anomalies. That's right.
Nice. All right. Let's see. So we'll start with this one. A hard to reach dream.
Ask them.
What? Oh, ask. Yeah, you got a few of them in here. So would you like us to do a hard to reach dream or school / parents? Okay. And Pear also says the honesty with feelings can be deleted. We will keep it forever. Okay.
Parents.
Parents. All right, here we go. So let's do that one. We got a link for you here probably too. I'm gonna win. Did I win?
No, she got it.
Ah,
So
good job, Princess.
so
You're
good.
so good, man. Oh
Your
man, oh
profile
man.
picture's awesome, Pear.
And here's what you win, Princess. You get to read the topic.
Whoa.
Isn't that exciting? I'm excited for you.
Why, thanks, Joe. I'm excited too. So here we go. Pairs, school / parents. So I have major anxiety towards school. This makes it very difficult to focus on tasks related to school, since whenever I try to think about doing homework or schoolwork, my thoughts jumble in my head, and I can't think thoughts alone. At least, not about school. I've tried everything to help me focus in school, but it seems everything stops working after a bit or doesn't work at all, and we're back to square one, except the problem has gotten worse since the last solution, quote unquote. Normally, I'd ask someone to help keep me accountable and keep me focused. Since I cannot do that, the only person that's really capable of that, minus maybe teachers, and that's someone who's in a completely different time zone than me. So when my parents come home, he's about to go to sleep. Now, today my mother had demanded that I do some work that I hadn't done in chemistry. However, when I tried to call people out to help me focus, the person that helps me the most was asleep, and the others couldn't really help me. No offense to them, they just weren't as focused as the person in question. So when I asked my mom if I could do more work tomorrow when he was awake and available to help, my mom immediately said no. She didn't believe that I would actually do the work, despite me having a plan this time to do the work in a specific way. and to try and get things done for once. She doesn't trust me at all anymore. And that was the day of the post. Today, they took away my class ring as an incentive to do my homework when I'm already trying as hard as I can. And it's make everything worse. I explained that to them and they just got angry. And then I got angry and started sobbing. And here we are. Does anyone have any tips for studying like this? For 2 more years until I graduate at least? Or even gaining back my parents' trust? From Pear.
Mm. I understand where you're at, Pear, and I'm sorry that this is being an issue. You know, it can be really tough to focus at times, and especially depending on incentives and all that kind of stuff. I mean, sometimes we just don't feel like doing the work and we don't have much of an incentive. Also, I understand both sides of this coin as well, because, you know, my oldest son is in middle school, and he's learning now that homework actually takes effort. It's not as hard as high school, I'm sure, at least from what I remember being in high school. But it's been interesting, especially this year, because he was remote at first and then went to school for a while, and then now back to remote because somebody tested positive for COVID at his school. So there's all kinds of upheaval with all of that. So I'm wondering if there's any outside issues like that. I'm wondering if you are remote learning or if you're in person, and how that all is affecting you. I know because it's affecting him. So I know that can be an issue. But then also, as far as studying and trying to incentivize you to study, it's interesting because as parents, you know, here's what's going on. Okay, you're doing school online. That, for a lot of people, that makes it even more difficult to do the work. It's terrible. I wish we were still in school. I completely understand. I like doing remote stuff personally, but I know for the most part, teachers and students both like being in person. And I experienced this just yesterday. I hung out all day with my oldest son while he did remote learning, and I was just kind of in the other room, but I could hear his teachers talking about how much they couldn't stand doing this. And I'm like, well, okay, I don't know if we want to convey that attitude as a teacher necessarily. I think maybe we ought to try to not just take what comes and, you know, work with it the best we possibly can. But that Pear Kid says, I feel like they're treating me like a kid, like using incentives used to work when I was a kid, but I'm older now and do things for different reasons. That's totally true. And I don't need incentives such as getting something back. Yeah, that's what we did. We did that with our kids too. Took stuff away when they were misbehaving, you know, and when they wanted it back, they'd start behaving. But everything changes as you get older. That's totally true. So I don't know. There's a lot going on here, and I'm interested to hear what Ryan has to say. So Ryan,
Yeah, there's a lot going on here. It's a tricky thing because I think, you know, someone said this in the chat. You might think your parents don't care, but the thing is, they do care. I actually know people. I know parents who don't care, and they literally won't punish their kids because they don't care. They won't try to make an incentive of taking something away. It is cruel to do something like that. I get it, and it's not fun. For, you know, it's like why are they doing this? This is not going to work on me, right? I get that, but don't think that your parents don't care, because I know people who don't care about their kids, and they go, they're not doing their homework. Okay, who cares? And it's like, and it comes to the point of like, no, I didn't make you food. If you want food, you make your own food. You know, it comes to the point of, hey, you're living here. You're like 16. You're old enough to get a job. Go. You're gonna pay rent. Like, I know parents that have been like this. So at least you're not in a situation where your parents don't care enough to try to help. even though their ways are misguided and wrong for your personality, right? Some people that would work on. Some people are like, yeah, I really want that ring. I'll work really hard to get it back. For you, it might just feel like punishment. And it's like punishment that you didn't do anything wrong to necessarily achieve. So I get the issue here. So here's the thing. If you want to be do better at school, it's really tough. I'm a person who did terrible in school, and by that I mean I had the same problems as that you're having. I got through school just fine. I didn't do any homework at home. So don't follow my example. I didn't do any homework at home. I did all my homework in school, and any homework that I didn't finish at school, I just didn't do when I got home. And when I got back to school the next day, I would do it in class before class started. And whenever I finished, I just turned it in like that. And most of everything I turned in was incomplete. And then, see, I paid attention in classes. I knew what was going on in class. I could pretty much ace every single test that came my way. Like it wasn't hard, but for me, it was just, they were grading me on my performance at home, which I thought was unjust and didn't make sense to me. So I get it. I also get the idea of being with people because that makes us more focused, I guess. It makes us, when other people are around us, we naturally go, oh, someone's watching, someone's with me, someone's there holding me accountable. So I'm going to do the thing I'm supposed to be doing. And then when we're alone, it makes it really easy to get distracted by everything, especially if you're doing things online. The internet, the whole internet's at your disposal. It's just at your fingers. So it's so easy to get distracted. So I get it. So here's a couple of things to try to help. Now, some of them involve going to your doctors. First, when I was a kid, I actually got on Ritalin because I had ADHD, or actually it was ADD at the times. But so I had ADD, and I went to the doctors and they prescribed for me Ritalin. Ritalin, I wouldn't recommend it for the rest of your life, but my dad still takes it to this day. I don't. However, Ritalin can help your brain not get so distracted and can help you stay focused. The issue with Ritalin is that it will dumb down your personality. So take it if you think it's a good idea, and I would bring it up to your parents. If you think Ritalin is a good idea, and it doesn't affect you, like it doesn't make you feel depressed or anything like that. It just affects your personality in such that it's a lot calmer. It's a lot like people are like, how come you're not smiling? Are you okay? And you're like, yeah, I'm totally fine. I just don't have any reason to smile, So it kind of dumbs your personality down. So you could just take it right before you're, like an hour before doing your homework, and that could help. So there's that. As we said, we are not psychiatrists, so it's not our right to identify the medication you should be taking. I'm just suggesting it. That's something that I experienced in my life, and there's no shame in doing it. It's just a chemical that you're adding to your body to help you focus. There's nothing wrong with that. We drink tea, for example, when we want to stay awake. I'm okay with it. It's like you're not doing drugs. It's not a bad thing. I'm just saying it's an option you could look to. Now, it might cost a little money on your parents' pockets, but you could talk to them about it and say, hey, this would probably help me focus and do better at school, because it probably would. But again, talk to your doctor, talk to someone who knows what they're talking about in that field, because they're going to know better than I. So that's my first suggestion. That's my practical suggestion that actually really could help you, Pear. My other suggestion is this. You want to, the method you have is to be around people while you study, because that helps you do better in that. So one, I know it might be annoying. If your parents are home, do it in the living room or wherever. Obviously they got the TV on, and that could be really annoying and distracting. So if that's the case, I get it. Never mind. But like if they're just in the kitchen or whatever, you could do it in the kitchen or whatever, where there's not a TV on or something. But if you have to do it because of all the distractions going on at the house alone, then just go ahead and keep on doing it alone. But if you put yourself with the company of your parents or brothers or sisters while you do it, that might work instead of using people on the server who may or may not be there. So that's another idea. Then you say, if I'm not in my room, anxiety acts up for some reason and it just gets worse. Okay, that's fine. Then the other thing is, you could try to continue to do the thing with people online who calm you and et cetera. But if you want to regain your parents' trust, as you said, I don't think that you've necessarily broken their trust. It's just they don't believe you. They don't understand you. So it's a difference between trust and belief. And what I mean is, they might trust you. If you say you're going to do something, you'll do it, or whatever. They might. Like, hey, could you do the laundry? Or you could say, hey, I'm going over to my friend's house, blah, blah, blah. And they trust you're going to do those things. But maybe they don't. Maybe they don't. So here's the thing. Gaining trust and respect and so on from your parents is not easy, but it is definitely doable. It requires you to trust them first. It requires you to respect them first. Here's the thing. If a parent doesn't respect their child is not going to respect the parent. That's just how it is. If the child does not respect the parent is not going to respect the child. That's just how it is. So one of the parties has to decide to respect the other first. And I understand that it could feel very one-sided at first. You're like, I'm respecting them, but they're not respecting me back. That's because they haven't figured it out yet, right? Relationships go so much more smoothly when we respect each other, right? When we trust each other. But a lot of times, based on what things that have gone on in our lives, or people we've met, or situations we've, experienced, we lose faith and trust in others. It could be everybody. Some people say, I don't trust anybody. Or it could be, I don't trust this person specifically. It could be either of those two options. But either way, both of those things are real big problems, because we need to trust each other in order to have healthy relationships. And healthy relationships are what bring about joy, peace with each other, and just general happiness. And happiness is what we're looking for in life most of the time. So you have to respect them first. And it might feel annoying, because you're going to just say, I respect your judgment, and I'm going to try to do what you ask of me, right? I respect your decision. So when they say something, it's important to say the words, I respect that, or I respect you. I respect your decision there, or that makes sense to me. Always try to point here's the thing. Always try to pinpoint what they say that you agree with. The good things that they say, they're like, yeah, that totally makes sense. I'm on the same page with you on that. Because people trust themselves more than they trust anybody else in the world. If you tell somebody that you agree with them, what they turn around and do is like, oh, wow, they agree with me? That must mean they are smart too, just like me. So now I can respect them because they're smart, just like me. I agree with them. So therefore I can respect them. So if you can take some time, if you want to gain your parents' trust, you can take some time to let them know that they're right about things, when they're right about things. When they say something that you agree with, let them know you agree with them. If you guys are in an argument, let them know where you agree with them on, more than you let them know about where you're arguing with them on. Like, if I'm in an argument with somebody and I want to win their favor, if I don't want to hinder my friendship, I will rather lose the argument and win the friend. Okay? So when someone has a disagreement with me, I can say, hey, I don't necessarily agree with that, but I respect you. And I know you've been right before. So I'm going to try what you're saying. You know what that does? That makes that person go, poof. This individual who just said that to me is worth my respect. The fact that they don't agree with me, but they're going to do what I said anyways, because they said they respected me. I can't do anything but give my respect in return. So if you can take that approach, of whenever you get into a heated debate, whenever you start to argue with them, try to find the things that you agree on and compliment them on those things.
Mm-hmm.
And when there's disagreement, I know it's annoying, but it's okay to say, I may be wrong. I don't know yet, but we're going to try out your way and we'll see how it goes. And if it doesn't work for me, I'm going to try out my way. If you can say it like that, that will mean the world to them. And that's how you start to gain people's trust. And it's hard because in the heat of a moment, your emotions go crazy and you can't think straight, and I get it. But if you can remember to try to side with them more than you are against them, it is super beneficial. And it reduces, like you said, it reduces the toxicity levels. Because if they know you're against them, they're just going to keep on pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing, right? But you can't push someone who's not on the other side if they're on your side, right? So if you take their side for them, even though you disagree, if you take their side more than you go against them, it's going to make the argument a lot easier for you, and it's going to make their respect for you go a lot higher. It's, in any debate, finding equality and things we agree on first is what wins the debate in the end. Usually, because here's the thing, if I'm against somebody, right, if I don't believe what they believe, I'm not going to change my opinions about something because they're mean to me. But that's how we act. I'm not going to change my opinion about something no matter how right they think they are. I'm not going to change my opinions no matter how many facts they point out. It doesn't matter. If my emotions are set, my emotions are set. That's how people are. We don't change sides. We just say, nope, it is this way and I'm right and you're wrong. And I don't care all the facts that you bring up. I'm right. That's the way we do things. We are human beings and we are stupid sometimes.
But me being chief among them, the stupid.
Yeah, me too. So instead of playing that game, which doesn't work, you flip the coin over, you do something crazy and radical, and you be an even better human being, because humans have the ability to think about this and play the game. So you take it and you go, oh, I'm going to play this game. Instead of being unable to change their viewpoint, I'm going to side with them at first so that I gain their respect. And then when it doesn't work out, we'll try it my way and we'll see how it goes. And I think that is probably one of the best ways to going about it at this point in time that I can think of. But anyways, I'm going to get over to Joe. Joe's got a lot better things to say than I did. But
I don't know about that.
You will have to, well, geez. Well, your brains are about to just like, you can't like just they won't be able to hold anymore. They'll just be like, I'm so full on what Joe just said, I can't stop thinking about it. And then we're going to be on the next topic, and it's just going to be amazing. So, well,
the cool thing is you can rewatch this, because you're going to want to rewatch what Ryan said. You are, because where I want to take my approach from, there's a couple things that I'm going to talk about. One is like some practical things you can do that'll help you study better, hopefully. Some things that have helped me doing things that I don't really have fun doing, like studying. And then the other thing is what Ryan said was so important and can help so much. However, what's going on in your mind, I want to talk about that a little bit and to just kind of give you a little bit of context from where you should be at mentally when you're going to do the things that Ryan was talking about, having these conversations, because they're important to have. So I'm going to start with the mental context, and that is, remember a couple things. One, judging, like Ryan was saying, your parents care about you a lot. And I saw you say in the chat, that Pear Kid, I saw you say they care too much. And it's an interesting thing, because as parents, I'm a parent, so, I'm still learning all this stuff too. And so as a parent, we care about our kids, but sometimes our caring goes in an interesting direction. Because I've caught myself going down this route. I've caught my wife going down this route, and we kind of check each other a little bit on this because, what do we care about? Do we care about the kid or do we care about the grade? We got to ask ourselves that question. And it's easy to care about the grade and kind of lose sight of the kid. Because we build up the importance of the grade because we want our kids to be successful. We want them to live a good life, and we kind of attach the grade to their success. But, so as a parent, I've caught myself going in that direction. And I try my best to be a good dad. I really do. And I love my kids. I love, I want them to excel in whatever they're doing. It doesn't matter to me what they decide to do. I just want them to do their best at whatever they decide to do. And I want to encourage them in any way they possibly can, much like anybody, But I still find myself going down that path. I get a report card and I see a grade on there where they're struggling. And I kind of feel myself moving in this direction, and I have to check myself and be like, wait, do I care about this grade or do I care about my son? And if I care about my son, of course I care about the grade, but maybe it's not that my kid is, maybe he's not slacking. Maybe he's just having some trouble figuring it out. Maybe he's got a teacher that's having an issue. In one case, like my oldest son gets mostly A's and A minuses. And he has said before when he was younger, he said, I want to be a scientist. He loves science. He's getting a D- in science right now. And it's interesting. I asked my wife about that. She works at the school where my kids go to school. And I was like, what is going on? And she says, she's like, well, we can't really blame him for this. Because in this particular class, the teacher doesn't like online teaching. The teacher doesn't like remote teaching. And so the teacher is like just lost with it all. And not only that, but non-communicative. When there was a time when my kids were remote, but the rest of the school was actually in person. But because my youngest son has a compromised immune system, we had to be really careful and kind of ease our way in, so we went remote for the first month of school. And in that first month, man, this particular teacher put all of his focus into the in-person learning and just basically left the remote kids like out to dry. And so it was really, there's a tough situation here. So right now we've got this crazy situation with all this extra stress going on, right? With online learning, with all, nobody likes it apparently. I would love it personally. But I know other people who just, that's kind of how we operate. If I'm going to do my work, I want to go do my work. I want to get it done, be done with it, and then move on with my day. Because I know that schoolwork, I could get it done really fast. I could read the stuff I'm supposed to read, do the problems I'm supposed to do, be done with it, and then go do something I really want to do. Right? But now, we got to have classes, and so you got to do them for a certain time, and, people have to have a full-time job as a teacher, and so, there's all kinds of weird stuff in there, and I'm not going to go too far into that. So here's the thing. I say all of this stuff because part of this, I saw in the chat, you said you've always had trouble doing homework. And also that you have ADHD and you're on medication for it and stuff like that. So okay. that helps with some with some of the context here. Here's the thing, as you have any of these conversations that Ryan talks about, understand your parents are trying to figure this out too. They don't have all the answers, but they feel a responsibility as your parents to kind of show that they have the answers. And that's a tough position to be in, for anybody. When we, because I'm still trying to figure it out, but, like my kid's asking me questions and trying to get answers. And so I have to kind of act like I know what I'm talking about, right? Even if I'm still trying to figure it out. And so I've learned to say, hey, you know what? I don't know the answer to that. Let's look it up. Or, and so it gives us a chance to look things up together. But in my weak moments, my pride kicks in and I feel like I need to know what to do and I don't know what to do. And because of that stress, I get angry. Does that make sense? Because that's kind of our natural response. If we feel like we should know something and we don't know it, but we can't let other people we don't know it, we start to get stressed, and that stress causes anger. And then it manifests itself in ways that can be, it can be unpleasant for everybody. So, all right. Perry, you say, I know, but even though they've said many times they don't know how to help, they try to help, but what they're doing is being worse than if they didn't do anything at all. Okay, so if they're trying to help and they're not being helpful and just not doing anything would be better. Okay. I can't fault them for trying, but then the communication has to come from you somehow to communicate this issue. And, and the tactics that Ryan gave you can be very helpful. But as you approach them, just understand your parents are people. They're not perfect. They're still trying to figure this out. You don't have to come out and tell them, hey, I know you're still trying to figure this out, because that wouldn't be very respectful. That might set them off and make them kind of angry. But just tuck this in the back of your head, because I'm speaking as a parent. Parents are just grown-up kids. And we're thrown in this mess as parents, and we're trying to raise these kids, and we don't know what we're doing, and we're trying to figure it out. And maybe we're doing the best we can with the knowledge we have, and some of us pursue more knowledge. Some of us think we have it all figured out. I know one lady who, she knows she's right, even though she knows she's not right. Right? Like, I
think we all know people like that.
And so, but anyway, as you approach this, here's the thing to remember: grace. Grace. Understand they're not perfect and they're trying to figure this out. Okay, so I've been trying to tell them over and over again. They don't listen. We do the loop thing Ryan was talking about. Okay. So then use this as a point of grace. Forgive them in your heart. You don't have to tell them outwardly that you forgive them, but inside you, in your heart, forgive them. Because in all this, I can imagine that you feel like they've wronged you. And maybe they have. I mean, I'm not there, so I don't know what was done in what was just an innocent attempt at trying to help, or what was like an anger out of control, whatever. I don't know the situations, but either way. Okay, I feel like telling them would be way easier than in my heart. Okay. But either way, in your heart has to happen. If you tell them you forgive them and you don't mean it in your heart, then it doesn't heal you. The point here is to heal you. It's not to take the relationship with your parents off the table right now. What we're talking about is what's going on in your heart. Forgiving someone in your heart is what's going to heal you, which is what's going to create the context for you to have these conversations, right? So that's where the inner healing is going to come from, is from you actually inside you just saying, I forgive you. Yes, this is wrong. Yes, this was wrong, but I forgive you for it. And you do that, you're absolutely right. It's difficult. I know it's difficult. So if you can't do it right away, just start trying to move in that direction. Okay? And then here's another thing. One thing that might help a lot is results. Now, what do I mean by that? Like what if you were able to actually start getting your stuff done and to actually, be a productive student and actually do that? Like, what if that, and then it took all these conversations all away. Uh-oh, I'm going to yell. Hold up. Okay. Sorry. I hope I didn't freak you out. Okay. No, I know. What if you were able to do that? I know you've been trying. And that I'm not saying you haven't been trying. Here's the thing. What I'm telling you here is okay, I've been trying to do as much as I can in such a little time. I understand. And when it gets built up like that, it's really stressful. And it doesn't help when our view of these things, like the people that are around us all the time are, maybe they're focused on our grades more than they are on us. And so they're building them up as these big, huge, important things in our lives. Like, grades are all that's important. You have to have good grades. And so then it becomes an even more monumental task, even if it's just like 3 problems or something, And then it's hard. It's hard to do anything when we have it monumental. I'm sorry you're dealing with some of this. I'm reading some of your comments in the chat. I'm sorry for that, Pear. But here's some things. Here's some things you can do. So you are getting things done. You are working. That's great. That's great. And I'm proud of you. And here's the thing. Here's what I do when I have a whole bunch of stuff I need to do that I don't want to do. I set timers. I set a timer. Maybe, and it kind of depends on the day. Sometimes I only set a timer for 10 minutes and I do this work in 10-minute sprints. So I'll set a timer. I'll take my phone. I'll set the timer for 10 minutes. And then when it rings, I get to take a break. I get to take a break for a few minutes, right? And then, so maybe I'll take a 5-minute break. And then what I'm finding is the more I do this, the longer the timers I can make for myself. So I can set timers for 20 minutes or 25 minutes, right? And then take a 5-minute break. Now, here's what I do in my breaks. I run in place. I do push-ups. I do something physical that exerts energy, because when I'm doing work like this, where I'm doing homework, or I'm sitting and I'm doing something on my computer, or I'm doing all kinds of inspections on my phone or whatever, I set these timers and I give myself a break. And then when I take that break, I do something physical. And I would imagine for someone with ADHD, that would be very helpful, because it's going to help you kind of get some of that pent-up energy out of you, just to go do some push-ups or do some sit-ups or run in place or do some jumping jacks or, yep, I understand. Pear says, I have depression, so doing anything physical is very hard. I understand. But here's the thing you're going to find. If you can break through the barrier of doing something physical, even if it's just stretching, not only will it give you a sense of release in your mind, and it'll help clear your head and help you get through things a little bit more, you'll find your depression starts to lift too. I know that that's helped me. Anytime I'm feeling down about stuff, the last thing I want to do is exercise or do anything physical. But I've learned enough about myself to know that that's exactly what I need to do. And it only stinks for like the first minute. And then after that, then it's good. Pear says, normally what I do is talk to people, so my ADHD is stimulated. That's wonderful. And so if you can find more people, I know you said something about a person that's normally in bed when you need to do your work. So at any rate, I've talked for a while, and we're getting close to having to be done with the show. We might have to just do this one topic for this show, but I'm gonna have to turn it back to Ryan. I'm really sorry if some of my stuff isn't clicking with you or whatever, but these are things that have helped me, and that's really what I have to offer. So I love you, and I'm sending it back to Ryan.
All right. I don't know. Honestly, yeah, there's a lot going on. So, with depression, with the anxiety, with trying to do all of your work, and then also dealing with your parents and all that kind of stuff. Sometimes, when we have depression, we see things differently than, well, no matter whether we have depression or not, we always see things differently. I should say that. Sometimes we perceive something to be negative when it's not necessarily negative. I know that I used to do that a lot. And especially when I was depressed, some people were trying to help me, but all I could see is my pride being shattered. Some people were in the class and I always wanted to appear smart, even though it didn't really matter. And it just ticked other people off. Stuff like that all the time. And so it's important to try to get other people's perspectives, important to get understanding of maybe your parents and what they're trying to do. It might seem like the only thing they care about is school. So it's better to take some time and actually just ask them, because then you get the truth. You can take some time and say, hey, Mom, I want to have a conversation with you, private conversation or whatever, and just talk to them about stuff like this. And you'll get their real things like, hey, do you care about grades, like numbers and stuff, or do you care about me, the person, right? They're going to answer, of course grades matter, but we care about you. That's why we want the grades to be good. We want you to have a happy life, that sort of thing. It helps put things into perspective. Thing was, Joe was trying to get onto something. I don't think he ended up getting there. When you talk to your parents about things like this, when you have a conversation with your parents or with anybody in the world, the important thing is, he's talked about grace, having grace. Have love in your heart. Because here's the thing. I'm going to define love for you, pair, real quick. Love is to desire the best for somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And being willing to help them achieve that. Sometimes there's something called tough love, when you have to be tough on somebody because you know what's best for them, right? And that's what parents do for us kids sometimes, especially when we're little and we don't understand. Then we grow up and they don't really understand how to teach us or communicate with us. And that's natural. We have to spend time communicating with them. So when you communicate with them, love them, desire the best for them, have that in your heart, because that will lead your conversation. When they speak about something, instead of getting all, emotionally uptight, you can be thinking, what's best for this person? Now, I know I feel this way because they said this to me, but does it really matter? In the grand scheme of things, I can let that go as time fades. An emotion is just an emotion. It's fickle. It fades like all things. And it fades relatively quickly in the grand scheme of things. So rather than, getting emotional, I love this person. Keep love at the center of your conversation. And then deal with them saying, hey, I want the best for you, Mom. I want the best for you, Dad. That changes everything, because that allows you to talk to them in a calm manner, which is looking for the best for everybody, rather than trying to fight for ourselves just to get an edge. Because that's a lot of times what we're doing, we're just trying to fight for ourselves to get that edge, to get a little bit of respect, or to prove that we're right, or to get something our way, or to get a little slack, a lot of times that's what we go into a conversation for, when instead we should be focusing on, how do I help this person have a better life? How do I help us all have a better life? How do I talk to this person in such a demeanor that allows them to be calm? Because you can talk to somebody and cause them a lot of stress, or you can find ways to say the same exact thing and cause no stress at all. A lot of times what I do is I like to open up with disclaimers. If I'm going to talk to someone about something, I'll first start with like, hey, what kind of donuts do you like, or whatever. I'll create a random topic and just engage in a normal conversation that doesn't lead up to anything, something super, super subtle, super surface. And then at some point in the conversation, I'll just hit the switch. I don't have to lead up to it. I just be like, okay, we've had a slight conversation. All right, here goes. Turn it on, flip. All right, we're going to deep mode. Here we go. And I'll throw out a disclaimer. I'll just be like, hey, I wanted to talk to you about something. And as a disclaimer, none of this is to hurt you. None of this is to offend you. I'm just trying to get in a better opinion about something or whatever I have to say, right? It all depends on what I'm going to talk about. But I throw out a disclaimer that says, hey, look, everything I'm about to say is not this. It's solely this. My point of talking about this at all is to get a better idea on life, to get a better understanding of you and help you understand me better. You know, things like that. That really helps, because then when you start to talk about whatever it is, you've already set the tone of the conversation to a sincere one, but a respectful one. And that's super important. So that's what I got. I think it's important to probably try to spend more time with your parents to help lower the anxiety you have around them. Because I understand that position of being constantly anxious around your parents. I had, my dad was not the greatest dad in the world. My mom was amazing. I love my mom. And my dad is awesome now. He's fine. But back then he was an angry alcoholic. And my tactic was, all right, if he's in a room, I just won't go in that room. Oh, he came into my room. All right, I'll just leave. Like literally, that was how I dealt with him, because there was no other way of dealing with him. I was only like 4, 5, 6, whatever. So I get what it's like. I get what it's like to be anxious around parents. That anxiety lasted until, I was an adult, where I started to think about these things and forgive my father. Once I forgave my father, I was okay with him. But until that point, I was always anxious with him. I was always. So that's why Joe was saying, you have to forgive them in your heart. It's not about forgiving them out loud or letting them know that you forgive them. It's about saying, okay, they did me wrong in the past, but that's in the past. I'm going to let it go, and I'm going to forgive them, and I'm going to say that they owe me nothing. And I'm just going to live out my life and hope for happiness, love them, desire the best for them, truly. Because then all of a sudden, when I did that, my worries about being around my dad just went away. I was no longer anxious, because I no longer had that fear that something like that was going to happen to me again. Because you know what I realized? If something like that happens to me again, it's okay. Here's the thing. We build up walls. When something bad happens to us, we're like, oh, I never want that to happen again. So we build up all these walls. But when you forgive someone who's damaged you and you take down that wall, what you find is an inner respect, and you realize, oh my gosh, no matter what goes wrong in my life, there's always still something good I can do. No matter what goes wrong in my life, there's always another door that leads to God, or there's always another door that leads to me doing something amazing for myself and for other people around me. No matter what happens in my life, I am capable of dealing with it. When you forgive someone, you don't just heal the wound and say, okay, now it never happened. No, you take that wound and you make it something where you are strong in, where you should have never been strong in. You can believe in yourself that you can get through whatever harm comes your way, because you're you and you've done it before. So to forgive is to become stronger. It's to become wiser. But it's a very beautiful thing. So that's what Joe was trying to stress, that it's important to forgive them so that you're not so anxious around them, so that your relationship isn't strained, so you can have these conversations with them with a loving demeanor, and so that you can be more productive around them because you're not anxious, and so that you can be stronger in dealing with yourself and your own emotions. Because then when something hits you hard, whether it be parents, whether it be friends, or whether it be a stranger, when something hits you hard, you've already been through hard things before and you've forgiven them. You can do it again. It's easy. But you have to do it the first time, right? And that's hard. You have to do it a couple of times, you know? Every time you need to forgive someone, the better you can do that, the stronger you become. So now there's a difference between forgiveness and trust. You know, there are certain people like, okay, I forgive them, but I'm not gonna let them manage my finances, right?
Yeah. You don't have to go that far.
Right. There's a difference there, right? You have to be smart, you know. But yeah. All right, we love you too, Pear. I hope that's helpful. I hope what we've said is helpful. And I'm sorry to everybody else that we didn't get to, obviously.
That's okay. This was really an important topic, and I think there's a lot of people dealing with stuff like this. You know, really. I mean, I remember dealing with this when I was a kid, and now I kind of have the other side of it as a parent, and so it's very interesting. But a couple things I want you to remember is that just if I could give you a taste of what it feels like to be free through that forgiveness, because really you end up with a degree of freedom. You're free from that anxiousness. You're free from that tension. You're free from that. You're not even worried about whether they respect you or not, because you're free of all of it. If I could give you a taste of that freedom, and I've experienced it to some degree just through forgiving other people who have done things that were really hurtful to me. And man, it's incredible. It's incredible, that feeling of forgiveness and just that release and that true total freedom from all the negative feelings surrounding whatever is going on. It's so interesting. I've said it many times. You know, forgiveness is for the person who was offended. You know, that's what heals them. Repentance is what heals the offender. Like whoever does the thing that's wrong that hurts the other person, they need to repent in order to heal.
I find myself on that side of the fence way more often.
What's that?
I find myself on that side of the fence way more often.
I know. Me too. And that's why when you learn to say you're sorry, you heal from the things that you did wrong. Because a lot of times, I mean, in any given situation, what's the phrase? It takes two to tango. So usually both sides have contributed a little bit. I watch it in my two boys, you know, both sides contribute to the fight that's going on. So, and that's why it takes three to mango. That's awesome.
What? It takes three to mango.
Yes. So absolutely. And so just remember that. And here's one other thing. You're in school right now. You're dealing with all this homework. Your life is so much bigger than this one time of your life, this school time. Now, here's the thing. Most of your life has been in school so far. But it's not what's going to define who you are. Whether you do good in school or not do good in school, it doesn't change your value as a person. And it doesn't change, what your purpose is. And so really, I remember a guy saying, well, did you try your best? And deep down inside, we know if we tried our best. And if you did, then angels can do no more than that. A lot of times people will say, well, I tried my best. And it's kind of a cop-out, like, I tried my best. But really, deep down inside, they know, like, well, I could have done more. But if you're really trying hard, then there's nothing else you can do. And sometimes you just need some help. And that's okay. Haha, I don't know what my purpose is yet. That's what the other topic was about. Yep, I understand. Finding our purpose. Our purpose is not something necessarily that we decide. We do get to decide some facets of it, but in a lot of ways, it's an archaeology experience, where
Something you discover.
we're seeking it, we're discovering it. And sometimes it takes a long time. I'm still figuring out my purpose, and I'm 42 years old. Like,
I think we will always be figuring that out as time goes on, and we're like, oh, huh, I did that without realizing it.
Yeah.
That was probably part of my purpose at the time.
yeah. Well, yep, that's part of it, I'm sure. I do know my purpose is to make others happy. That's about all I know. But you're absolutely right. And I would take not necessarily
good
to
job at
make others happy, but to serve others, to help improve their lives, right? And we do that by making people happy. Absolutely. And I tell you, it's great to have you here. I apologize if there was anything that I said that was hard. Understand that, my intentions, I just really, I love you and I want to help. I want to do whatever I can to try and help heal this situation. And I know Ryan feels the same way. So at any rate, buddy, we love you, and understand this isn't the end all be all of your life. This isn't everything. And
Yeah.
I gotta say, man, the chat has been just awesome tonight. You guys in the chat,
Yeah, I know.
you guys have said
Thank you,
so
guys.
many
These are
wonderful,
incredible.
helpful things throughout this whole thing. And man, I've been watching what you guys are posting, and I'm just so amazed at this community. You guys are so incredibly cool. Right, Ryan?
Mhm. We are very thankful for you guys. You guys are amazing. Hmm.
Yeah. So, wow. But yeah, this is unfortunately, because this is not your fault, Pear, that your topic was the only one we covered. It's because of all the technical issues, and I don't know if you wait, Jono, you told a joke? What's it? Take 6 to be an American
I-
acapella gospel sextet. Yeah.
I saw it. I just didn't have yeah,
Oh, that's awesome.
that's good.
You said I was in a band called Headband. We were fun.
That's right.
Weren't we fun? Ryan came and saw one of
Yeah,
our
you guys
shows.
are fun.
Yep, Headband.
Yeah, you guys are amazing.
And we had headbands. We had headbands that said headband on it. and then we were also so it was the same 3 guys. We were Headband, and that was the headlining act, right? And the opening
Yes.
act was Big Bucks and the Loose Change Blues Band, right? We'd wear suits and stuff for that. And then we'd go back and we'd change clothes and we'd come out as Headband. We'd have like big wigs and hippie clothes and stuff. But our slogan was
Yeah.
only a 3-piece, but it sounds like a trio.
Wow.
That's what was printed on our shirts.
Oh my gosh. Oh jeez.
Yes, we opened
Yes,
for
they
ourselves.
opened for themselves. They were a grand act. It was pretty cool. They got to do like quick change room and everything.
Yep, that's awesome. So anyway, you guys are amazing. I love you all. Ryan does too. I'm going to speak for him.
Thank you. I appreciate
You're
that.
welcome. You're welcome. I could see it in your eyes. You're about to say that.
Yeah, I had a moment where I just couldn't say it, but thank you for saying it for me. I
Yep.
love you guys. You guys are awesome.
Yes. So in the meantime, thank you guys so much for coming. Sorry this show is short, but yeah, technical issues, man. We don't have much control over that. We just try and make the best we can of it. I was about this close to giving up.
I believe it.
And I'm
I
like,
thought we were gonna give
deal
up.
with this
You
frustration. I was
managed
like,
to.
oh my gosh, how are we doing this? And then finally we got it put together. I was so thankful. But yeah, you guys are amazing, and
Hey, and bananas in here too.
yep. So go
We
to the
love you.
store. Go to the store. BSS.studio. Go there. Get some stuff. The book is 20% off. Can't do a show without talking about how the book's 20% off. The coupon code is Inktober. It's at the top of the screen when you go to the website. So, it should be pretty easy to get. But anyway, You guys are amazing. Come back on Friday. Joe wants more work. That's right. Yes. Thank you guys for being here. Come back on Friday for Free for All Friday. I'm not sure what we're talking about. We'll figure it out. Right,
We'll
right.
figure it out.
You know what we're talking
Yeah.
about?
Aren't we talking about cold versus hot?
That could be one. Could be one thing.
Yeah.
Cold versus hot. Fleece
You could also do
versus
that with
flannel.
hot versus cold food.
Fleece versus flannel.
Fleece is made of what?
This. This is a
And
fleece.
what's flannel made out of?
Flannel is made of flannel.
That's what I thought. No. Neither fleece nor flannel is made of fleece nor flannel. All right. Anyways, thank you guys for
yes.
joining. Love you. Bye-bye.
Love you guys. See you next time.
Peace.
Oh, and I gotta turn it off too, don't I? I'm the guy.
Oh, you got
Hi,
it,
everybody.
man. I
I know.
trust you.
I'm the guy on the butt. I got the button, and I'm pushing the button.
Boop.
Now. Nope, not that one. Different.
There's only 2 buttons.
There's only 2 buttons. Go watch Epic Origami
I
Giraffe.
don't know.
Yes, it's on this. It's
you
on
go.
this channel. Love
It's
you
on
guys.
this channel. Go look.